Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play Tears Go By the Rolling Stones. This is a single from 1964. I think it's the first song that Keith Richards and Mick Jagger wrote together, so it's a classic. And it's a pretty simple song, pretty short song, so 6 chords, and all of them extremely common, well, except for one. It's not that difficult. So the first chords you're going to be playing for the first verses are G, A, C, and D. And then they don't finger pick it, or Keith Richards doesn't finger pick. A lot of tutorials say, oh, you got to finger pick this. It's like, no, he doesn't do that. You can tell in the recording it's crisper. And not only that, when you see him play it live, he's using a pick. So you can finger pick it if you want, but I just think if you want to stay kind of more true to the recording, use an actual pick. Also, use a 12 string, but I don't have the money for that, so I'll be teaching you on a 6 string. If you want to play it more like the recording, get a 12 string. Maybe some of you already have one, so cool. So we're going to start off doing on the 6th string here, E string. You're going to go from the 2nd fret to the 3rd fret. It's not, a lot of people say it's from the open to 3rd, but it's actually from the 2nd to the 3rd. And then this is a G chord, so you can just have the G position. However, you're going to be fretting the 3rd fret on the B string, so that's a D note right there, and you really don't have to concern yourself with this bottom one here. You're not really going to be using it that much. So you go 2 to 3, then you hit the 3rd fret on the B string, then you hit the G string and then the D string, and then you go back to that 3rd fret on the B string, then to the D string, then back to the 3rd fret on the B string. So goes 2, 3, B string, G string, D string, B string, D string, B. Now when you play that slow, it doesn't really sound at all like it, but you speed it up a little bit and it sounds a little better. So that's the first chord. The second one is an A chord. So I like to bar this one. It makes it a little easier to play, just however you feel comfortable, but just know you're going to be hitting the 3rd fret on the B string, so just be able to put your hand in a spot to be able to play that. Right there. So you start off with the A string right there, open. Then you go to the 2nd fret on the D string, jump down to the 2nd fret on the B, 2nd fret on the G, 2nd fret on the D. So you kind of go. And then after doing that, you go back down to the B string, and that's when you hit that 3rd fret on it, and then you play the 2nd fret immediately after. So it goes, and the entire thing is. Once again, when you play it slow, it doesn't really sound that accurate, but when you play it all together and a little quicker, you know, at the recording's pace, then it sounds, oh, you know, that sounds right. So, yeah, that right there is accurate, and we're halfway there with the intro. So then you go to the C chord. So after playing that with the A, you hit the A note again, and then you hit the 3rd fret on the A string, so that C note. And then you're in a C chord pattern here, and then you go down to the G, and then hit the B, 1st fret on the B string, so. Play the open note on the D string, so take this finger off and then place it back on, So you go 0, 2, open, 2, and then you go back down to the B string, which you of course have it fretted on the 1st fret, and then you hit the D string again. So, right. So it goes open, 3rd fret, right there. I'll play this a little bit faster now. Or I guess I forgot the little open note here. So that's it right there. That's the C one. So we'll take it from the top again. Oops. Alright, right there. And so one more chord. This is the D chord. So it's actually different for this first verse than it is for the other ones you're going to be playing in the song. It's not much different, but it goes D, the D note, and then you're in the D chord pattern as well. And so you go to the 2nd fret on the G string, 3rd fret on the B string. So 1, 2, 3. And then you hammer on the 2nd fret on the G string, and then you go back to that 3rd fret on the B string. So it goes, and then you hit the D string again, and then you finish off going back to that B string. So it goes. Alright, so we'll put that all together to get the intro. Alright, so the 2 verses that begin when Mick Jagger says, "It is the evening of the day, I sit and watch the children play," that contains the same chord structure as the intro, and the picking is pretty much the same with the exception of the D chord. So I'll go over what's different with the D chord. You literally play everything else the same. So you can still practice those other ones and stuff, and then incorporate this final D chord. And this is the D, how you'll play it with the rest of the song. And so it starts off with the D note. That's what it is right there. So it's, you play the D string, G string, 2nd fret, B string, 3rd fret, G string, 2nd fret, and then you pull off the 3rd fret of the E string, and then you hit the B string, 3rd fret again, and then yeah, you finish with that 2nd fret on the G string. So it goes. And so you play all the verses with that version of the D. So for these 2 verses, it would go. And then in the 3rd section of the verse, where it says, "Smiling faces I can see, but not for me," this is where the other chords come in. So this starts with a C, goes to a D, and then to a G, and then this is where it goes to, it's like a D, F sharp, and then to an E minor. So I think an E minor is pretty basic. It's just, you know, these 2 frets right here, the 2nd fret of the A string and 2nd fret of the D string, everything else open. But that D sharp F, or the D F sharp, is the one that kind of gets people. So it's like a D chord, but or a D sus2 chord where everything's the same, but you lift off this finger right here and you play an open. Actually, for this one you don't even play it. You just don't. You mute this string. You don't play this high E string here, so you just goes. but you also use your thumb to press down the F sharp. So really what they're doing is walking down the scale here. Is they're going from a G, and then they're going the next fret down on here, but using a B shape down here instead of a G. And then they're walking down a full step for this one instead of F to all the way down to E, or E minor. So it goes. But once again, they're not just playing the chords. Keith Richards, is actually picking his way through this. So for after you finish off with the it goes. So that's what it kind of should sound like, but I'll walk you through it real quick. So the first thing you do is you go open A to the 3rd fret on it, so, and then you play the 2nd fret on the D string, and then you play the 1st fret on the B string, and then go to the G string, which is open. So. And then you play the 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the A string. So this is once again you're walking down. So let's play it again. And then this is when you go to the D chord, and this is played exactly the same as you play it in the other ones. So it goes, you know, same as you've been playing. So it goes. Now I move into one of the tougher sections, probably the hardest part. You can either just have the G chord kind of formed here and then play the A string open and then the G string. But I don't think that sounds as good. I think it sounds a little dissonant as compared to pressing on the 5th fret of the E string and just sliding down pretty quick to have that walk down, step down. And then once you do that, you go and then hit the G string and then the 2nd or 3rd fret of the B string. So it goes. Then you hit the 3rd fret again of the E string and you walk it down. You play the 2nd fret of the E string, and I play it with my index finger because then I use my middle finger to press onto the 2nd fret of the G string, which is what gives it that that D F sharp shape. So I have the F sharp hammered on here, and then I have the D's shape down here. So it goes, and it's the same thing where I hit the 2nd fret of the E, and then I go down to the D string, or excuse me, the G string, and then go to the B string, and then I go back up once again to the 2nd fret of the E string, and then I walk it down again to that E minor shape, and then I hit the E, and then I do the same exact thing where I hit that G string, and then I hit that B string, and then I hit that G string again. And then this time, keeping the same chord shape, I go up and I hit the D string, 2nd fret, and then I hit that G string afterwards. And then I pull off that note on the D string, and so then it's just an open D string, and then after that you hit the G string again. So it goes from the top. And that's when you go to the C string to do the next part of it. But, you know, that's just the chord right there. So it goes. or if you want to see, you know, from the whole verse, the C, the D, then G, D, F sharp, and E. So it goes. Alright, so if you can make it this far, you've already made it through the hardest part of it, and all you do is kind of, I mean, it's only, you just play a C and a D to finish off the verse, and then the rest of the song literally just repeats this entire chunk until the end. So the last part after you hit that C chord is... So all it is going back and forth on that. Don't hit this last note like I just mistakenly did. You just want to hit all these middle 4 strings and go back and forth. So. And then you switch to the D chord and do what you kind of have always been doing. But notice the second time you go through the D, you don't do that little pull off. You just finish on that F sharp note. So once again, with the C, it's... And then you go back into it. So there you have it. That's all you really need to play the song. Just remember in the intro, the way you play the D chord is a little different from the rest of the song. But all you got to do is be able to play that first verse, and you can just repeat that for verse 2, repeat that for the instrumental, repeat that for verse 4, and then that's what you do during the rest of the outro. So you get those down, you master it. That third part where you go C to D to G to D, F sharp to E minor, that's probably the hardest part. But if you can get that down, and the rest of the song kind of falls into place. So I hope this was helpful for you.